Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. We have a very full day today, and now we're going to go to Abuja to talk about the Chevening Alumni Program. You remember that a few months ago, the alumni was here telling us about an essay competition. Well, it has taken place, entries have come in, and winners have emerged. I'd like to welcome Professor Biodun Adeniyi to tell us more about this, and he's joining us from Abuja. Good morning, Professor.
Yeah, good morning, madam. Thanks for having me on once again.
Yes, the entries came in. Did they come pouring in?
Well, first, I think I just want to thank Channels Media Group, for the support you give us up to this stage. And special thanks goes to the chairman, Dr. John Momo, for his evergreen support from our president and present chairman of our board of trustees. We're indeed very grateful. I need also to thank Arise, your sister television station, Arise Television, and Cable Online News, for their support as well. Well, it's been exciting so far, very impressive, very enthusiastic entries, nearly about 1,400, and we had to go through a process, putting it down from that number to about 1,000, then to 500, then to 250, and eventually to 65. And now we have about 9 winners, And of course, the winners are also very instructive in the way it's spread across Nigerian institutions. We have, if you permit me, Samson Nayobami of University of Lagos, Folaranmi Oluwafemi, of Obafemi Awolowo University, Chudubem Oko of UNN, Olusegun Ogunwole of ABU, Victoria Jonah of Unical, Omolara of Ekiti State University, Florence David of Unical as well, Temitayo Fajobi of University of Ilorin, and Wisdom Owodelu of Alexi Kweme University. These ones, have been invited to an award ceremony on Thursday to be hosted by the British High Commission, Her Excellency, British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Mrs. Katrina Lang. And it's going to be a showpiece event where we'll expect some of our biggest brands, notably Dr. John Momo, our biggest masquerades to be in attendance as well. But I think it's also very important for me to underscore the themes, that run through the presentation of the youth. One is that we saw an enthusiastic youth, who were very knowledgeable, very epistemic about their environment, and who are eager for change. Then secondly, we saw a set of entries, that were essentially evidence-based, research-based, showing the tendency or the leaning of the youth, to be learning-oriented, very engaging presentations, no doubt. And it just tells us that these youths, are looking forward to a better condition so that they can contribute their quota, to the development of this country. And thirdly, we saw that there's nothing in it about migration among them, nothing passionate, it's just a construction, like an economic construction, an unfortunate economic construction, making them to look outwards in terms of the search for hope. If all things were right, ordinarily, this youth would not be looking towards irregular or illegal migration, as the case could be. Very exciting thing. And most importantly, before I stop in this introductory remark, is just to say that, we saw a youth, who were ready, willing to contribute, from the angle of being the next set of human capacity, resource, waiting to be harnessed away from our hope on steel, on agriculture, muches. Enthusiastic youths are simply waiting for a better environment, a better material condition, so that their anxieties can be mitigated. And of course, they can reinvest their hope in their motherland or fatherland, as the case could be.
Professor, you're so enthusiastic. You're not even giving us a chance to interject at all. Now, tell us about, now, first of all, how you have 9 finalists. How are you going to determine the first 3, for instance?
Oh, okay. The first 3 have already been determined. That's Samson of Unilag, Folaromi of OAU, and Chudbem of UNN. The remainder, are winning consolation prizes. You would discover that the entries are quite close in terms of substance, in terms of quality. And of course, it took the expertise of maybe more experienced professionals to be able to sift through these things. It was really very competitive, and it may be surprising as well to see that, the 4th person, there was a long debate debating, deciding on who the 3rd and the 4th was going to be, because they were very close, which made it all exciting. But of course, we are recognizing all of them. All the 9, at the end of the day, we're going to give them certificate of performance, as something that they can just take home with. But for the first 3, there are, some gift items that we've aligned, courtesy of the contributions, the support we've had from Channels Media Group, the British High Commission, and all other alumni members of the alumni group.
Professor, what was the general quality of the essays?
No, okay, good question. You will, you will note that the quality really is not too different from what we usually witness assessing young ones, even the older ones in the academia these days. There is a huge temptation, to want to deviate from being original. A huge temptation because of the deluge of information around us. There hardly can there be a question that you'll be asking now that somebody can not just Google up and find an answer to it. So that temptation is there for people to look for the least option, Googling things up, coming up with an answer that you say, is predictable. But of course, evaluating these things, you know that it is not necessarily original. That's an overall picture, which is understandable. You find it among all cadre of scholars, not just the youths, all cadre of people who are going through different kinds of examination. But the onus is now on, the examiners, those who are evaluating it, to separate the wheat from the chaff. And of course, thank God for technology. There are now applications that can help you find out if a submission has been copied or not. Of course, we had a rubric. And of course, we also did some credit referencing check. Particularly, we used Turnitin. And Turnitin, of course, brought out so much similarity indexes, which we use to sift out those who probably have copied. But we understand these things as well. It's something that is part of the age that we are in. But it was also very gratifying that quite a number of these entries, were original. They were very creative. They were scintillating, and like we expected, many of them, they spoke from their innocence, point of view, and you appreciated them, for being true to themselves. And that's why a lot of them made it to the end, and of course, we were able to come out with eventual
Professor
winners.
Biodun Adeniyi. We just wish you all the best, and we wish you a successful event when you make your presentations to the winners of this program. Thank you very much for coming to give us the details of the Chevening Alumni Program. Sunrise will return to talk about pangolins in a minute, those endangered creatures. See you in a bit.